Hey everybody, I'm Josh, and welcome to another episode of Just Saying. Thank you. We have a great show for you this week. So week 1, we met our perfect person. Week 2, we went on our first date. Week 3, we got engaged. This week, we're getting married, having kids, and dying. All wrapped up into one 45-minute show, or less. Anyway. It's going to be fun, though. I like to make things fun. Speaking of fun, let's ask the question I begin every show with, and that is, what is Josh drinking? And on the show today, I'm drinking none other than good old Mountain Dew. Refreshing. So as I said, we have a great show for you today. We're getting rid of, or we're ending, I should say, not getting rid of. We're ending our month-long series on Dating 101, where I, someone who doesn't date, teaches you how to keep and find the perfect person. Find and keep, I guess, in that order. You don't keep them and then find them. Anyway. So I do have a couple of apologies to make, and I do have some explaining to do. So it's time for the rundown. Now, if you didn't notice, I kind of got my show out late last week. Like, really late. So we had the show filmed and ready to go before Sunday. A couple days even before Sunday. And so, all of a sudden, right around the full moon all the time, every month. And I'm a firm believer that men have a cycle like women do. But instead of PMS, it's PWS. Putting up with women's shit. Or stuff. But anyway, so mine always is right around the full moon. I get really depressed. I really start missing my mom. And so I'm at work and I open this box and inside this box, there's 3 other boxes and they say wind chimes. And I'm like, oh great. I hate wind chimes to begin with. And now I have to display them up by the front door so that every time the door opens, they go ching, 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 and I hate them. And then there are some hanging things and some yard stakes, I guess you'd call them. And so the first I opened the box, and every one of them was in a protective sleeve, except for this one. And this one was right on top. It was the first one I saw when I opened the box. And that told me that my mom was there and said, it's going to be okay. So I was like, it's only $1. I better buy it. So now it's our new wall decoration. It's ugly, but it's my mom. Maybe it'll be less ugly if I could see color. I don't know. Anyway, moving along the week, Friday I get a phone call from Producer Man. And he's like, so when are you going to post the show? I said, on Sunday, but we haven't even filmed it yet. He goes, no, you moron. Last week's show. It totally slipped my mind. With everything else going on in my life that week, I totally forgot. And I apologize that I posted it just 3 days ago. And I'm sorry that I'm posting this one late. I'm filming it the day after it was supposed to be posted. So I apologize. I've just not been myself for the last week or so. But I'm already working on next week, so it's good. And next week starts Luck Month. No, not the football player. Good luck, bad luck. And we're going to watch both of them. Or we'll look out for both of them. So other than being annoyed all week and depressed and just wanting to be in bed, I have another apology. Last week I teased that we were going to have a Taser Versus video. However, she decided to go on strike because she feels like she needs more treats. So she's brooding in the other room right now. I don't know what that means. I mean that she's just huffing and puffing in the other room right now while I'm filming this. So anyway, needless to say, and I know that you guys only watch this show for Taser. You know, I know you all hate me. So I will try to get it settled as soon as possible and get you a Taser Versus video because I think the one I was going to do is going to be hilarious. If she acts anything like my other dogs in the past acted when I did it, and no, I'm not going to just stand in front of her naked to make her laugh. Anyway, but it should be hilarious, depending on how she reacts to it. Watch, it'll probably be the worst taser versus ever. Anyway, I think that's all I had. And since that's all I had, it's time for this week's bullshit question of the week. Here we go. In the 1920s, products called the Rabbit and the Hitachi Magic Wand were available in the Sears Roebuck catalog as a cure to help for what disorder that was said to afflict up to 75% of American women? A, menstrual cramps, B, hiccups, or C, hysteria. Here's the question again. In the 1920s, products called the Rabbit and the Hitachi Magic Wand were available in the Sears Roebuck catalog as a cure for what disorder that was said to afflict up to 75% of American women? Is it menstrual cramps, hiccups, or hysteria? The correct answer is C, hysteria. The products were vibrators. So, who knew? It's time for the news. Icy roads were the cause of a 100-car pileup in China. Here's a picture of it. As you can see, cars came in from all directions, including one car that just randomly decided to sit on top of another car. It was on its tires. It didn't flip or anything. It was just sitting there, chilling out. And thankfully, no deaths were reported. Only 3 people were taken to the hospital. 6 people were treated on scene for minor injuries. The rest were all good. 100-car pileup and no deaths. That's a miracle. Travis Kelce was said to have been seen in Sydney, Australia over the weekend when Taylor opened her weekend set of concerts there. Along also with the group of Travis Kelce were Rita Ora and former enemy Katy Perry, who was seen singing along to some of Taylor's songs. So I guess that's been squashed. I guess that when she did one of her videos where she dressed up like a hamburger and the other one dressed up like French fries and they hugged. I can't remember what song it was. Anyway, Taylor and Travis were also seen at the Sydney Zoo. He plans to stay the weekend with her and may follow her to Singapore, where her next set of concerts are. Hey, it's either talk about Travis Kelce or Trump. And that was a producer man story, so that's your excuse there. So this is a me story because it's sad. Wyoming University, 3 members of the swim team from University of Wyoming were killed in a horrific car crash. It was a single car crash in northern Colorado. According to the Colorado State Police, 5 passengers were in a Toyota RAV4 around 2:44 p.m. When the car swerved off the road, rolled, ejected 2 people. 3 were pronounced dead on scene. 2 were injured in serious condition and taken to the hospital. All 5 were members of the swim team and dive team. My heart's thoughts and prayers go out to them and their families and the school as they deal with this rough time right now. The crash is still under investigation. It's not sure what caused the accident, but if you remember a while back, the University of Wyoming lost, I believe, a football or basketball player to a drunk driving accident, which I'm not saying that's what happened. I have no idea what happened. As far as I know, there's no reports out, but we also think that Colorado is known for the weed. Please don't sue me, University of Colorado or University of Wyoming. I'm just pointing out things that are there. Okay. Anyway. But it is heartbreaking. I mean, I remember when a good friend of mine, well, it wasn't, I mean, a good acquaintance of mine, was killed in a car accident, and the whole town just like gets shut down. And then going back to school with that all over all of our heads, you know, is horrible to have to deal with. So I can imagine what that school and that team is going through. So moving on to happier topics, actress Natalie Portman was recently quoted in an interview saying that she doesn't think that movie stars have the celebrityism that they did back in the day. Nowadays, kids are more interested in the social media influencers from TikTok, YouTube. She said that her 12 and 7-year-old daughter, I'm sorry, 7 and 12-year-old children, didn't say daughters, know more YouTubers than they do movie stars. So, which I have to agree with, because let's be real here. Kids these days don't have the attention span of our gnat. They can't, I mean, they can only watch a 7-second video on TikTok. How can they sit through a 2.5-hour movie? I mean, you know what I mean? However, they will be able to sit on YouTube and watch someone videotaping themselves playing a video game. Whatever. And finally in the news, if I can click on it, this is kind of funny. Kevin Durant was heckled at one of the games and had some words with a couple of fans that called him a, quote, bitch, end quote. He went over, had about 30 seconds worth of words with the two fans, kind of went like this and walked away, rejoining his team. He noticed the security was escorting the two out, and he stopped it, saying, hey, no, it's all part of the thing. You know, I agree with that. There's rivalries, and that's the part that makes the rivalries fun, is to go into them, you know, get into that mindset when you know you're playing that team. Luckily, they stayed and was able to watch the Mavericks beat Kevin Durant's team 123 to 113. But I remember back when I had season tickets to the amateur hockey team here, we would always be in rivalry with, I think it was either Toledo or Dayton or both in Ohio, and because they're a hop, skip, and a jump away. And I mean, the rivalry was thick. Like, I dreaded going into the arenas because I was afraid I was going to get beaten up wearing the team jersey, you know. But at that time, you're proud and you're going to stand up for your people. But it makes the rivalries fun. I mean, we would go on road trips with a group of us, and during the time that they take to announce the starting lineups, we would be sitting there reading papers, and, you know, you play along with the rivalry. So I'm glad that he stopped him from getting kicked out. I think that was a big move on his part to show, hey, you know, it's just part of the fun. Since I don't have a Taser Versus video for you today, I quickly had to throw together a sketch. And this is the one that actually made me start thinking about doing this sketch. I haven't talked about it yet, but I'm going to right now. Why? Because I just watched the episode last night. That's right. It's time for the big thing. It's time for my big bang theory. It's my big bang theory. Blame producer man. I swear he does stuff just to annoy me. Anyway, so here we go. In the episode, season 7, Raiders minimization, Sheldon gets Amy to watch the Raiders of the Lost Ark for the first time ever. It's his favorite movie, and he watches it all the time, except he can only watch the face melting scene during the day anyway. So at the end of the movie, she mentions to him, you know, Harrison Ford's character has no point in the movie, because whether he was in the movie or not, the Nazis would have found the Ark, opened it, and all died, which is what happened. And so it kind of bursts his bubble, and then he tells the other guys, so they spend a few minutes trying to figure out, no, it makes him a hero because he did this in the movie. And then they're like, no, that's not it. The one thing they didn't get is they kind of make a point of it, but they don't go as far as I can go. And here's what it is. They mentioned that Indy took the Ark to the warehouse, and then one of them was like, no, but he was supposed to take it to the university to get studied, or the museum to get studied. Had he taken it to the wherever to get studied, they would have opened it, all died. Therefore, He saved their lives, and he is a hero again. You're welcome. I just saved Raiders of the Lost Ark. You're welcome, America and Indiana Jones fans. Speaking of nothing we were just talking about, so in week 1 of Dating 101 month, we looked at what not to do in order to find somebody. And then once we found them, I showed you what not to do during a first date so that you'll get a second date. Last week, I showed you some just to keep your mind on when you get engaged to somebody. And today, we're going to be talking about the wedding, the marriage, and the end, which is death. That's right. I can make death funny. Anyway. So what better way to look at marriages other than the hilarious photo fails in this week's edition of Funny Family Photos.
Drop it.
See, I'm ahead of schedule, and so I had to spread that out a little bit, which is why I'm talking now. It's called a filler. Yeah, I'm way ahead of schedule. This might be a short episode. I didn't have a lot to talk about today, and I didn't get into a big rant about anything. Anyway, here's the first one. I have to say, first, your intentions are great, but the outcome is not always. Look like it would be a beautiful picture. Here's the next one. Now, they used to do this, I think, on America's Funniest Home Video. No. It was ridiculousness. They would do, like, at the end of the show, what a kid did when they were little, and then someone older doing the same thing. So it was like then and now. So I have a little bit of one here for you. Here's the then. Like, why would the bride just be laying down like that? And the fact that a kid walks by is even hilariouser. I don't know if that's a word, but I'm making it one. Urban Dictionary it, people. Here's the later. They recreated the photo just a few years later. Like, what thought process was that photographer going through? And what thought process was that bride and groom going through thinking this would be a great idea? Hey, Grandma, I got our wedding pictures. I just picked them up. Want to look at them for the first time ever with me? Oh my gosh, what is this picture? Really? Here's the next one. Here's the then. And then we have a couple that decided to try and recreate the picture. And that's not it. It's that one. Here's the recreation. A little backwards, a little bit creepier. But, hey, we all move on, right? Right. Now, when a woman gets married, you'd think that the first person that gets to play with the goods is the groom. Nope. And that kid looks a little too happy to be doing what he's doing. Here's the next one. I have always said I am not big on weddings. Like, if I get invited to them, yeah, I'll go. I was in a few. One of my sisters, one of my friends who I don't talk to anymore. So I've never been big on weddings. If I were to get married ever, I would be totally fine with going to the courthouse, signing a document for $30, spending the money on a big trip. Still have like a dinner, I still have to get the presents and all the good gifts and money. I'd have a big dinner, but I wouldn't spend 1 year's worth of planning on one day. You know what I mean? Like, to me, the ceremony itself should be a private thing. I would have a few good close friends and family there. I don't have any friends. And I only have like 2 members of my family I talk to. I'm kidding. Anyway. But yeah. So this would be my type of wedding. Just chilling. Just chilling. Here's the next one. You know, I love when you're trying to take a sentimental picture and then some douchebag ruins it by photobombing you. And I love that the photographer still decided to take the picture because instead of being like, dude, get out of the way, because it's so much better now. I hate photobombs. That was the moral of the sarcasm oozing out of my body. Here's the next one. Just like the first picture, I have to say that good intentions don't lead to good results. I don't think that marriage lasted. Just saying. Here's the next one, and the final one. Now, again, you get your pictures back. You're sitting there with your grandma, all excited to open them, look at them for the first time. And then you come across this picture. Explanation, please. Like, there's no way. There's nothing, no possible anything in my mind that would make me to think, hey, let's do this idea for a pose. No. We were just more carefree time in the day, okay? Now, as you all know, I've said it once, I'll say it a million times, I hate kids. Well, I don't hate them as much as I would not throw a rock at them. I don't like kids for a long period of time. Let's put it that way. I don't have the patience for them. Sit down, shut up, listen to me, or go away. And drink a bunch of Mountain Dew before you go home. You're welcome, Mom. Anyway, one thing I will stand by is that there's always a reason I don't have kids. You will find a lot of the pictures in today's segment are cute kids just doing bad things. Like, I don't hate children. I don't hate the age. I hate the ages. I hate the phases that they go through. Like, just be you. You know, don't throw a tantrum because you're tired. Just go lay down. We go through this every day. And you always lay down. You always wake up and you're in a much better mood. Just do it. You wake up in the morning and you go to the babysitters every day. Don't cry because you have to go to the babysitters. Just shut up and go. Anyway, moving right along. I love kids. Just not for long periods of time. I just know. I don't have the patience. Like, and producer man always asks me to babysit. I'm like, no. If you're there, fine. But if you're there, there's no point in me being there to babysit. Like, I once I get to a limit with kids, just, I'm done. No more. We're done. Just go home. So, anyway, that's just how I feel. Like, I can take kids to a certain point, and then at that point, I'm just like, I'm done. Go play in the street. Don't play in streets. Here's the first one. Speaking of the streets, when I was a kid, I worked the streets. I'm kidding. I lived on the country in the middle of nowhere. But when I was a kid, I did want one of these racing beds, but I definitely would not throw my baby powder all over it. Or maybe he got pulled over by the cops and was lost his cocaine, and I don't know. I always did want one of those racing beds, though. I was so mad when I never got one. But then, like, I look at it now, and it's like a 7-inch mattress, and you're like, yeah, I could have slept in that for like a year. Here's the next one. This girl just looks so cute. She's just like, how can you get mad at that little girl? Despite the fact that she spilled stuff everywhere, how can you get mad at that cute face? You know that that's a girl that when she gets in trouble, she does that and gets out of trouble every time, especially with grandma and grandpa. and Uncle Josh. Here's the next one. Yeah, I would be a little mad too. And I love that they're trying to cover their faces. I think. I can't really tell. They kind of blend in. Here's the next one. I'm really hoping that's pudding. You tell me. The kid looks more upset that he lost his pudding than that he's going to get in trouble for spilling his pudding all over the floor. Parents, here's just a little warning. Don't let your children help you feed the dog, because this may happen to you. They may say they want to help. It's going to be a lot more work for you in the long run. Here's the next one. And I just want to know, how? I mean, when I was a kid, I remember making some big messes. Like, we'd have the whole basement of the house was like our playroom. And we would always trash it, especially when we had friends over. And then we'd have to spend the time cleaning it up. And I would just move a couple things. My mom would be like, okay, that's great, son, go away. And then she'd finish the rest of the cleaning. Anyway, so I don't remember, though, making this big of a mess. Ever. Like, that kid had to have help. And he's so proud of it. Like, here's another little girl. Like, how... Okay, she's messing around, spilled the flour or sugar or something, cocaine, whatever, spilled it everywhere. How can you be mad at that face? You look at the mess, and then you look at the face, and then you look at the mess again, and then you look at the face, and you're just torn. Here's the next one. Again. How? Just how? And finally, don't leave your baby rash lotion in the reach of children. That's kind of your fault. You know, as I was sitting there trying to put this show together, thinking about how can I end not only the month, but end a marriage. And then I did break up texts in the past. I've done divorce things in the past. I thought I would try to make light of the situation of death. And what better way to do that than to look at some hilarious epitaphs in this week's edition of What's Wrong Here? For those of you who don't know what that is, an epitaph is a tombstone. I just recently found that out. I typed tombstone and epitaph kept popping up. I'm like, producer man, what is an epitaph? He's like, it's showing you a picture of an epitaph. And then I was like, I like saying the word epitaph. Watch, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Anyway. Now, you don't like to fail at things. How depressing, knowing you never want to be a failure, would it be for your last name to be Fail? I mean, that's as bad as having your last name be Dick. Here's the next one. I love my animals. Every animal that my family has had growing up, we would always not just chuck them in a grinder. No, we would bury our animals when they passed, except for fish. We'd flush them down the toilet. And then we'd find out they were really alive, and then they're probably down there plotting our deaths. Anyway, so when the fish start swimming up the pipes, people, I warned you. But never would I spend hundreds of dollars on a tombstone for an animal. Let alone put Woodstock, one hell of a cat, often mistaken for a meatloaf. How can you mistake a cat for meatloaf? Now we know how they died. They thought someone thought it was meatloaf and tried to eat it. Here's the next one. I'd say this guy got the last laugh. You know how you have that family member who isn't thinks that they're dying when they cough for the first time when allergy season comes up? Yeah, I'm that person in my family. Anyway, finally, like, I cry wolf all the time about being sick. I'm a big baby when I'm sick. Ask Sebastian if he knew who he was. Anyway, um, this is what I would do. Just like a final ha-ha to my family. Told you I was sick. And not tell them that I paid for it to be on there. They get it and be like, you jerk. We know it now. I don't know why my family sounds like that, but whatever. Here's Robert Clay Allison. He never killed a man that didn't need killing. Alrighty then. Here's the next one. I just put this one in here now because it's funny. Because it's actually kind of cool. But I wouldn't pay for that to be mine. Like, just give me a rock. Actually, I've always told my family when I die, and I don't plan to die soon, but when I die, like, I know it's illegal, and they can't legally do it, but I'd be like, have a big bonfire, throw me on top of it, voila. I don't care. I don't want to be in a box underground for... No. No, the idea of worms crawling in... No. No. And I know I would be dead, so I wouldn't have a control over it. But, like, I'm claustrophobic, and just thinking about being confined in a box freaks me out. Anyway, I'm going to move on before I start panicking. This is of Joel Cheskin, who finally got a hole-in-one. For the one summer that I did play golf, I almost got a hole-in-one. At the first hole at Detweiler. I know, it's like the baby course of golf courses. It's like the step up from miniature golf. But, like, I hit the ball, and, like, the hole is on a hill, and on the other side of the hill, it runs into into water, into the Illinois River. And so I hit the ball, and I don't see where it goes. My dad doesn't see where it goes. We just assume it went into the river. We start walking to find my dad's ball, and I'm like, I'll just drop mine near yours. And he's like, okay. So we start walking to his ball, and my dad's like, is that another ball up there? And we're like the only ones in the golf course, because no one ever went there, which is why it doesn't exist anymore. But he's like, is that a ball up there? And we keep going. I was like 3 feet away from the hole. Or other than that, it was a ball that looked just like mine with the markings just like mine. Anyway. So yeah, I almost got a hole-in-one. But almost is... What's that saying? Something about... I don't know. Something about almost and... whatever. How... Besides having the horrifying last name of Fail, how would you like the horrifying last name of Butt? Think of me and smile. Here's the next one. Oh, nope, that's the same one, Josh. Great job. Here's the next one. Speaking of butt, how would you like the last name of Spanx? Here's the next one. Ma loves Paw. Paw loves women. Ma caught Paw with 2 in swimming. Here lies Paul. I don't get the swimming part, but yeah. That can upset a woman. Now, I am totally a moron, and during rehearsal, realized that I was supposed to write this one down, and I still haven't written it down. So I can't see it. So I'm just going to pop it up there. Hopefully you guys can read it. Here you go. Something about voting for a Republican. I don't know. But I put it on there because I thought it was funny. And I totally ruined it by not being able to read it to you. And I'm sorry for that. What a way to end the month and the show. Totally kill the segment. It just dawned on me as I pulled it up that I still hadn't written it down. Anyway, well, you'll live and you'll learn. It's producer man's fault. We'll just blame him. Anyway, if you think there's something funny I should see and share on the show, be sure to send it to me. I hope you guys enjoyed Dating 101 month. Next week, like I said, we start Luck Month. So we'll take a look at some good and bad luck each week and some funny things. So, without, also, while you have a moment and I'm just sitting here blabbing, please like, comment below, subscribe, and get the notifications anytime I post one of my episodes, which is for the next 10 weeks, and then I'm off for a bit, and then it's 15 weeks after that. And I sound really creepy when I whisper. I hate the sound of my voice anyway. Moving on. So just to end this horrible show, I'm kidding. I hope you guys did enjoy the show. I hope I was able to make the last segment funny at least, and before I ruined it. Wrong button. See, I can't even hit the right button. I think it's time to throw the towel in. Kidding. Well, I'll be back next week as we open Luck Month, as I said. Please stay safe, stay healthy, stop the hate. And until next week, that's all I'm saying.